How are closeted gay people often able to have heterosexual relationships? Just imagine as you grew up as a kid, you and all the other kids had either two dads or two moms at their house. All the movies and TV shows have two dads or two moms. All the songs, music, and books are about two men falling in love and how beautiful it is. Growing up, your dads took you to church where they talk about how beautiful and correct it is for two men or two women to fall in love. You had to spend time studying Shakespeare in English class, and he wrote about how beautiful men are. All the other guys at school talk about which other guys are cute and who they think is hot. Your dads start asking you about which of your guy classmates you like. There's a school dance coming up and people are going to treat you really weird unless you find a guy to go with. Even if thinking about some of the girls at your school give you a strange jolt of excitement, you'd probably still look for a guy who you think looks good, and maybe you can make it work with him, don't you think? After all, you having a relationship with a girl would be weird and disappointing to your dads. Gay people have felt enormous pressure throughout history to be heterosexual. It's presumed. It's expected. Less so now, but still strongly there. You wouldn't feel weirded out about being with a man if just about every guy you knew was with another man. You would probably try it out, just like LGBTQ people sometimes do with hetero behavior, before deciding, yeah, no, not for me. It's amazing what you will do to avoid being murdered by your neighbors or family. Most gay people had parents that were heterosexual, so we've been exposed to man-woman intimacy a lot more than you have to man-man intimacy. Even though gay identity is talked about more explicitly, a straight identity undermined is often close to a critical core failure of their whole identity. For many straight men, gay identity undermined is less catastrophic. Repress, deny that part of themselves. They believe it's a disorder or choice to be gay, and if they have a relationship with a person of the opposite sex, they'll be cured or swayed to the hetero side. Some people go through life believing this about themselves and are the sort of person that hates themselves and are often extremely anti-gay. Source: my gay 84-year-old dad, who realized he'd been taught to hate himself due to the time he was born, raised, and has been much happier after accepting himself. Maybe these things are related? Maybe homophobia is so deeply ingrained in all of us. Heterosexual people cannot even imagine doing anything with someone of the same sex. And closeted people feel they must be with someone they are not attracted to. You have not had to experience the insane amount of pressure that a lifetime of hatred exerts. You have to try to imagine being born into a world that from your birth tells you it hates you, beats you, and wants you dead. You will be shunned. You will be ridiculed. You will be unloved. You will have less acceptance and support than a serial killer. You will see on TV a girl saying that you should be kicked to death. You will have school children beat you after school and knock you down in hallways. You will see someone like you robbed, pistol whipped, and tortured, then tied to a split rail fence and left to die 6 days later. You will see people like you hanged or thrown off buildings. You will see men that murdered people like you get acquitted in court. You will see kind-looking women that look like your mother calling for your death and being applauded. You will see the worst criminals in prisons getting married while you cannot. You will find your body shaking with fear just at the thought of touching someone's hand. Every fiber of your being is terrified of being discovered. Your own family hates you. You are called names everywhere you go. People laugh about referring to you as kindling for bonfires. You are never safe and don't know who you can trust. You will confide in your best friend and never see or hear from them again. Everything in society reminds you that you are unnatural and perverted. Every movie and every book and every piece of art will show you what love and romance is. But it doesn't include you. You will think about killing yourself all the time because you just can't take much more of it. I'm in my 50s. Things are better now. But this is how I grew up. In my youth, there was a plague that seemed to target me. There was infection, sores, blood, and painful death for people like me. And the country's leaders and president thought we deserved it because God hated us. Today we're still called groomers and pedophiles. We are called demons. Our pride parades have been referred to as a beast parade. Bomb threats are called into schools that try to accept us. Laws are enacted to make sure we aren't talked about. And all this is still better than it used to be. You don't understand how a gay person can't feel disgust in a straight relationship. You find a way to do all sorts of things to just survive and not live in constant terror. You simply don't feel the immense pressure of society because you're swimming in waters made for you. I think if you were actually in some of their situations, you would also feel like the lack of attraction isn't as bad as the consequences of coming out might be, or what will happen to your soul if you accept yourself. There is probably less overall heterophobia in the gay community than homophobia in the straight community, though it just has to do with who has more of the factors that can cause it in their lives, like religious conservatism, peer influence, role models, etc. You grew up seeing media saying homosexuality is gross. I grew up seeing media saying heterosexuality was the way to be normal. Unpacking my compulsive heterosexuality is a whole thing. I still don't know if I'm attracted to men or not, but I'm not sexually repulsed by them. I'm not sure that sexuality with the same sex repulses most straight people, though I can think of quite a few friends who've tried sex with other guys, had a good time, and then concluded that they're pretty straight. Same with straight women. Physical contact is nice. Orgasms are fun. You don't have to be specifically sexually attracted to someone to enjoy sex with them. Some gay people are repulsed by hetero sex. Some straight people are repulsed by gay sex. But that's really not a universal experience. This is nothing new. Back in the golden age of Hollywood, you had beards and lavender marriages. Robert Reed, Dad on the Brady Bunch, is the perfect example of this. He married a woman and had a kid because he thought coming out would ruin his career. And at the time it probably would have. Unfortunately, they likely had to practice for the big charade in their mind for years before they actually had to do it. You would be surprised what you would end up doing under extreme societal pressure. Of course, there are some LGBTQ who are as you say, and the pressures cause them to take their own life, loudly crying. You'd be surprised at the things people do when their life is at stake. It's safer for a lot of people to deny that part of themselves and to follow what's been expected. There's so much pressure to be straight, get married, and have kids. You risk losing friends and family. You risk losing your home, any safety or security, and you risk bodily harm. Imagine I was brought up to believe I should be with another woman. People are shamed, looked down upon, and even hurt if they don't follow the norm. I'd try out some tacos and give it a go. I have never slept with a woman but met other gay men who have. Some have even entered relationships with women who know the guy is gay. But due to their religious beliefs, they try to make it work. They have sex and are genuinely affectionate. But the men admit they are still gay. I have never asked, but I assume they are fantasizing they are having sex with a man. I'm not repulsed by women, I'm just not sexually attracted to them. If sleeping with a woman was required for me to remain in the closet, I guess I could do the deed. As a lesbian, I've often wondered this myself. The thought of forcing myself to be with a man to conform not only repulses me but causes me severe emotional distress. I have tried and have cried my eyes out feeling dirty and unclean, so I truly can't imagine how they feel or how they do it. I wouldn't say it's less rigid. From what I have heard, others think they can cure themselves. So that is a motive for some. Others brave it out to appear normal to their families. I suppose to them it's better than being shunned from the people you love. Those are just two explanations I've heard from people I know, though I'm sure there is way more. It's a hard situation to be in. Nothing with sexuality is set in stone for anyone. Just look at all the gay sex goes on in prisons. But to a guy, sex with a woman is unfulfilling. There's just nothing there. You go through the motions. I used to have to fantasize about my buddy I used to mess around with just to be able to stay hard. For me, having sex with a female was on about the same scale as jacking off. It was emotionless and empty. My oldest son is also gay and he won't even give a woman a second glance. He just has no interest in being friends or anything. Some of my friends over the years fell into the family trap, where they knew they were gay but decided to be a husband and father. They value their family and life together but really can't get excited with their wife. To fill that need, most will have a good friend on the side. What's kinda funny is their kids can spot their sexuality long before the wives do. For me, I wanted the kids but didn't want to pretend and lie to someone I supposedly cared about. To me, that would be the ultimate betrayal. One word: splitting. Many of those split and repress their emotions to the point of dissociation.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.